we got breaking news. Bryce Harper's back.
Yep.
Phillies couldn't have asked for that at a better time right now.
Oh, yeah.
NL East is a very tight division. Right now you do have Braves 19-9. They're leading. Marlins are in second, 3.5 back with 16-13. Mets are falling down a little bit with 15-13. They're 4 back on the Braves. And then the Phillies are only a half game back on the 4.5 back.
Mets lost today.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have a good chance for Philly to potentially get in there and make that happen.
Yeah.
Especially with Harper coming back. That's perfect timing for them to get him back. Now, is he going to mash right away? That's a good question. We'll have to wait and see. But so, real quick, we're not going to spend too much time on baseball. A lot of our baseball segment was last week's podcast. Make sure you check that out if you haven't already. That was episode 12, I believe. So, but real quick, I mean, we all knew the Oakland Athletics were going to be terrible.
They're horrible. Jesus. Oh, my God.
But did we see the Rockies going 9-20 to start the season?
Oh, yeah.
They're worse than the Diamondbacks. Speaking of which, they're leading the division.
Oh, yeah.
You have them and the Dodgers tied, and they go head-to-head, I believe, starting tomorrow, which is Tuesday again. These are recorded Monday, so Tuesday, May 12th, or May 2nd, excuse me.
By the way, we didn't cover about the did we cover last week about the Oakland A's? They bought the land in Vegas.
I didn't know if they officially bought it. I knew they were offering for it.
Do you think that's a great idea? There's a lot of fans very disappointed. You know, we was expecting to see them.
Where are the fans at?
Yeah, you're right.
That's where you have to go with it. Where are the fans at? If the fans aren't showing up, what's happening?
Yeah.
They don't have very meaningful baseball being played right now. As we talked about last week, Pirates are running the division right now. They're a game and a half above the Brewers, who are also playing really hot. Cubs are sneaky good. Yeah, they just need a couple more weeks to put it together, I think.
Did you see the differential runs for the Pirates?
I did not.
Plus 48.
Yeah, that's insane.
Plus 48.
Is that the best in baseball, or what's the best in baseball right now?
I think Tampa Bay is 103. Tampa Bay is 103, and then second place will be Texas Rangers.
And they just dropped 15-2 against the Yankees.
Yeah.
Yankees are hit with the injury bug right now as well. They are tied with Boston in last place in their division.
It's just the injuries, the whole freaking bullpen, and 2 starters.
So we kind of talked about this for a minute before we started this. You guys need to start calling up prospects at this point. You need to. Yeah. You guys signed Jake Bauers. He didn't work out in Cleveland. He didn't work out in Seattle, and he didn't work out with the Brewers.
And I cannot blame Aaron Boone for this.
No, you need to blame Brian Cashman.
I cannot blame Aaron Boone for this. That's the roster that Brian Cashman gave it to him.
And it's a good roster. But again, you need to trust that farm system.
Yeah.
A perfect example of that is look at what the Reds have been doing. Look at what the Mariners have been doing. I mean, these guys have been calling up prospects for a couple weeks now. They're working really well. Another team you could throw in there is Cleveland. Cleveland today just called up another one of their prospects who they got in a trade from the Brewers, and David Fry. So he just got called up. So now Cleveland has called up Battenfield. They've called up Bybee. They've called up Logan Allen. Now they've called up David Fry. That's 4 guys already. Yeah. 4.
They have to do something. It's insane. But one of the highest salary, Mets are in first place. But my God, too many injuries. But I understand it's part of the game. But there's something needs to change. Like every single year is like this. And Cashman, I don't know. I'm a Yankees fan, but we had one of the worst general manager in sports right now.
Yeah, and if you guys do decide to fire him as a Cleveland fan, you are not allowed to take Mike Chernoff.
No.
Not allowed. Him and Antonetti work way too well together. Look at some of the trades they've done over the last couple of years. Look at what they've done. I would say bring up Jason Dominguez. He's in AA, and I understand that you could still bring him up to get him some experience for a little bit, but he's only batting 140. So I don't know what you guys are going to do. You're in a really big, tough situation. You're going to have to make a trade or two. You might have to give up some prospects to go get somebody just for a year or two.
I don't know.
Either that or you're tossing in the towel here in the next few months if nothing happens.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
You need to find a way to figure out what you're going to do with Stanton. Because Stanton's the biggest killer of you guys.
How you can trade him because of the fact that they got a no-trade clause. That's the problem. And that's the problem that Cashman is doing. signing contracts with no trade clause. It's the same thing with DJ LeMahieu.
Well, that's the only reason they go to New York is not just because of New York being New York and the history of the franchise. They go there because you guys give them the money, and then they demand a no trade clause so they don't lose that money.
It's just crazy. So there's no trade clause. It just needs to stop. That Garrett Cole got no trade clause. Well, Garrett Cole's doing a decent job so far.
Yeah, but again, Garrett always starts off hot and then he falls off mid-season. So let's see what happens.
It just unreal that all the no trade clause, and then. And Hall Steinbrenner just giving the contract. You just re-signed a 4-year deal with this guy. Yeah. And I cannot blame Aaron Boone for this year.
No.
I can't. Because the fact is, that's the roster that Cashman gave it to him. So...
These injuries are what
and then the things Cashman said, well, we can figure out things. Shut up. Seriously, shut up. People get annoying, I know. There's opportunities for every single team. Not to try to be selfish, but every year you just talking about making excuses, injuries, this and that. By the way, take the freaking blame about the freaking stupid trade you did last year, just to rid of it 1 year of Gary Sanchez and just eat 2 years of Josh Donaldson contract, plus IKF.
He's a catcher more than a shortstop. You guys needed to trade for him. If you were going to trade for him, he needed to be a catcher, not a shortstop.
You get my point? Just 1 year.
I do. But again, that's what I tried to tell you years ago. We've had these conversations, me and you personally. I told you need to get rid of Sanchez in a trade. You don't wait until the very last year.
Mm-hmm.
You should have traded him 2 years ago.
Oh, Marlins, they want him 3 years ago.
And why didn't you trade him?
Remember when JT Realmuto was
still but you weren't getting him.
No. I'm just trying to explain. That was a possibility with some prospect. That's why I was back in the day when JT Realmuto, was, there was a possibility.
Yeah.
But,
it's injuries are hitting a lot of teams right now. Obviously, DeGrom can't stay healthy. I don't know what the hell his problem is. It's pretty much his career is almost done at this point.
Signed a 5-year deal with the Texas Rangers.
Yeah. I will say this: even though Tampa Bay had the hottest start in baseball, the Orioles are only 3.5 back.
Yeah, Orioles.
They're playing really well right now.
Orioles are really well. Good, and I'm happy for them.
Can we give a round of applause real quick?
Oh yeah, of course. I think the president of baseball operations was a Houston Astros. I think general manager. Back in 2014, 17. The cheating scandal or whatever.
Yeah.
But he just said, just give me 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
4 to 5 years. I will promise you, I will get this team on track. That's the proof right there.
Yeah.
That they're doing a freaking good job so far.
Absolutely.
And have the best prospect in the league right now.
They do. And they've called a couple of them up as well. I will say this, though. One more time, let's give a quick round of applause.
Yeah.
That goes out to the Chicago White Sox for breaking a 10-game losing streak. 8-21. 8-21. Chicago, what is going on right now?
That is embarrassing.
They have almost the exact same pitching rotation as they did last year. I don't know what the difference is. Dylan Cease looks like he's getting whacked all over the yard now. On top of that, you also have the offense is not there.
Oh, my God. They're horrible.
You have 4 or 5 guys that are literally sitting there. 4 or 5 that are sitting there and they're hitting the ball. The other ones are not doing anything.
They're gonna rebuild.
They are, and it sucks if you're a Chicago White Sox fan because they literally just rebuilt and it lasted 3 years, if that.
Hey, can we get another applause to St. Louis Cardinals? Oh my God, 10-19 on last place in the Central Division of National League.
If you are any team right now that needs, for instance, a shortstop, a second baseman, or if you need an outfielder, they have surplus of them. I think they're ready to move on and do something.
I don't know what
they're gonna have to try to do. And here's the thing: we've seen that happen before. let's say, because I don't even know if Wynn is up for them yet, because Wynn is their top shortstop prospect. I don't believe he's with them yet.
They put it back in the farm system.
So they might be willing to, see what they have in their farm system guys, and maybe just scrap this season and see what happens. You could see trades like Tommy Edman maybe get traded. Maybe Tyler O'Neill could get traded. You could see a Dylan Carlson get traded. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll have to wait and see.
This is something weird this year. Look at Seattle.
Yeah, they're bottom of the division. But again, we are second to the bottom of the division. They're not that far back on the Angels and Astros, though.
Well, I'm just saying, it's like a very slow start.
Well, they also lost Robbie Wright, but not a lot of excitement right now with some of these teams in baseball. I will say with baseball, we'll get more into it as next week or the following week we'll go into that. But we're going to switch over to the NBA real quick. So, NBA, tonight, this is obviously recorded on Monday, so this is 5-1. This will release Wednesday. You do have Celtics in Boston tonight. In Boston, game 1 of the series. That's at 7:30.
Good game, man.
Why don't you give me your prediction on that series?
I want the 76ers to beat the Celtics. I see in 6 games, I think.
So, Sixers beat Celtics in 6?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to see the Celtics lose as well. I want 76ers in 7, though. I think 7. That's my prediction.
That's 4. You rooting for the 76ers?
Yeah, I'm rooting for the 76ers.
Okay.
So you say, okay. You said, what, in 6 Sixers?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I said 7. You got Phoenix and Denver. Denver took game 1. They play again tonight at 10 o'clock. I think Phoenix evens the series tonight, but I think Denver wins it in 7.
If that guy, what's his name? Murray, what's his name?
Jamal Murray.
Yeah, if he goes off again today, I don't see it.
Yeah, I do think that somebody's going to help step up on the Phoenix Suns tonight. I do think that they're going to end up winning this game, and they're going to make it a 1-1 going back to Phoenix. But I think in 7 games, Denver is going to take it. What's your prediction on that one?
I see Denver in 6 games.
Okay. And then Miami goes into the Garden and just manhandle them.
Hurt.
Yeah, we don't know the extent of his injury yet, I believe.
It's sad, man. It's freaking sad.
Where is he at with this? Do you have any update on his injury?
No, they didn't say anything yet. Because the game is on tomorrow, but man, he got hurt in the 4th quarter. Because of his injury, I will pick the Knicks in this series.
Let me see what his injury is saying. Okay, so it says here that he was walking on the streets of New York.
Okay.
He was walking on the streets of New York with the day after the injury.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a sprained ankle. So his ankle is swollen to the size of a what they say?
Yeah,
size of a baseball. So he might sit out 2 games.
It sucks.
I think I have to, with the win in New York. They stole one on the road. Miami's tough to beat at home. I think that Miami wins it in 6.
Without Jimmy Butler,
well, you say that, but then Vincent went off right after Butler got hurt. So I don't know. We'll wait to see what the Jimmy Butler injury is. Now, if Jimmy only misses 2 games and he comes back, I say the Heat win in 6. So that's my prediction for now. If Jimmy's out for the rest of the series, though,
I say Knicks in 7.
So you say 7 for the Knicks, okay? Okay, so Knicks in 7 for you.
If Jimmy Butler doesn't come back,
okay,
healthy.
All right. And then a matchup that we've only seen, I don't know, about 1,700 times in LeBron and Curry. Who do you got in that one?
Oh, this is a tough one. The problem is the Warriors. I know they beat the Sacramento Kings, 2 away games.
Yes.
The Warriors always struggle the whole year winning in, away games.
But I will say this. before you make a prediction, the Warriors are home court advantage now.
Yeah, home court. So I will pick the Warriors beat the Lakers in 7 games.
Okay, I'm gonna take the Warriors in 6.
Okay.
So we're roughly around 6 or 7. Nobody's gonna clean sweep this. This is gonna be a battle for the playoffs. So those are our prediction for the NBA. We'll see what happens with that. Just the Jimmy Butler situation is gonna determine a whole lot.
Yeah.
If Curry has to do what he did in Sacramento last night and drop 50, I don't think the Warriors are gonna win every game win the series because they need help. Clay was missing shots. Wiggins was missing shots.
What about Draymond Green that he's doing?
Draymond Green's been doing decent on rebounding. He's still not a big-time scorer. But, man, Kevin Looney.
Oh, my God, 20-something.
Over 20 rebounds, I believe, and he also had, I think 10 points or something like that. A lot of putbacks for him.
Yeah.
He's
one of the reasons why the Warriors win in this series because of him.
Can you say, and a lot of people are going to be like, well, what about Anthony Davis? Yeah, Anthony Davis is a great player, but just because he's known as a star doesn't mean anything.
He gets hurt all the time. So
I mean, how many times have we seen, okay, you have, Bam Adebayo, right? Mm-hmm. We know who he is. He's a good player. He's a good center. Mitchell Robinson could, have 2 or 3 good games. We don't know who he was really. He wasn't a big-time player, so.
This will be interesting because I'm so disappointed. I want Sacramento to move on.
So did I, unfortunately. I'm just tired of the same exact teams in the playoffs every year.
I want Memphis. After that, Dylan Brooks say to LeBron, I said, you know what? You're so cocky. So, you know what? Whatever. I think LeBron got the last laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, well. We'll see what's going to happen. But, man, Jimmy Butler.
Let's hope he's all right because that should have been a good series, barring the injury. Well, hopefully it's not something that keeps him out too long. I know you really didn't get much of a chance to watch
I didn't.
the NFL draft, but we're going to switch over to that one. So I'm looking at every team's pick. I'm not going to go through the exact picks here, but I do want to break down a few. Like, for instance, Arizona got Paris Johnson, offensive tackle from Ohio State. Really good tackle, really good protector. And they traded back to get him. So they also added draft picks.
I saw
That's how
that trade, yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, you go all the way down to Houston here. Let's see here.
And then Houston made a trade for a third.
Yeah. So they traded with the Cardinals to get up there.
They got the online back.
There you go. Yeah. So Stroud went number 1. So number 1 pick was Bryce Young. Went to the Panthers. Panthers got their quarterback. Hopefully, they don't want to be doing this again. But then Stroud went 2 and then traded up with Arizona. They got the best defensive end in the game on an edge rusher and Will Anderson Jr. So Houston is replacing who they lost and Okigwe, who signed with the Browns. And then on top of that, then they go out and they get a corner. They're adding depth now. I would say give Houston another another year or two, and they might be back in there. They might be. I'm not saying for sure, but I say give them another year or two, and they might be back in there.
What about the Panthers pick with the quarterback?
Bryce Young. So he was. Get back to that one. Bryce Young. Okay, so Panthers did not have many picks this year. So they actually got Bryce Young, quarterback from Alabama. It's a good pick. And then round 2, they took a receiver in Jonathan Mingo, who is actually a pretty good receiver. Jonathan Mingo was a really good receiver there.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So then they ended up they had a pick in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. They ended up going with an edge, a guard, and a safety. So they're trying to build some depth. Here's a guy that could make the roster as like a 3rd or 4th string guy at safety for them, and that's Jamie Robinson. Okay. Jamie Robinson from Florida State had a good career when he was down there. Not a great. He was not a first-round talent by any means, but for him to fall down to the 5th round, that's actually pretty good because I know a lot of people thought that he would go in the 4th round. He fell farther down in the 5th, so that's good for him there.
I know the Steelers make some trade.
They did, and I actually want to get with that. If you are a AFC North fan, you don't like what the Steelers just did.
Yeah.
They
got the first of 14 of Broderick Jones, offensive tackle.
hold on, let me see where they're at. There you go. So they did get the offensive tackle to help with that. They traded up with New England for that.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's funny because if you look at how that played out, New England was picking 14, the Jets were picking 15, and the Steelers were 16.
Okay.
New England made that trade to get more value, but on top of that, it was a big screw you to the Jets, a division rival.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Jets needed offensive tackle help, and they just literally traded and got an offensive tackle. So that was a big screw you. Here's where I'm concerned if you're an AFC North fan. Second-round picks for them. They got a defensive tackle in Benton from Wisconsin. He's a good pick. Really good pick. But they also got Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State. That is probably one of arguably the top 5 best corners in the draft.
Yeah, I just talk about the second round.
Yes. So they got both those guys in the second round and not far off from each other.
Oh, my God.
And then what you really hate is you hate sitting here and you're looking at it and you're going, okay, who's going to guard this tight end that they just drafted? Oh, yeah, by the way, Darnell Washington, 6'7", 280.
Oh, my God.
It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
This was a lot of trade, what I see. Look at this.
Yeah, there were a lot of trades.
Yeah.
All right, you said you had some trades, though, for the AFC North?
No, you was talking about it.
Oh, that's right. Got distracted for a minute looking at this. So, yeah, they had that trade with the Steelers, right? The Steelers traded up with New England, took over. Mm-hmm. You know, that was a big trade. Steelers did trade up once or twice, and Cleveland actually did trade later on. They did trade, I believe, in the 7th round with Baltimore.
Uh-huh.
And they gained a 6th rounder for doing that.
Okay.
So that could potentially move a 6 or a 6 into a 5th maybe or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I will say this. After that, you look at we got to go back up to it. Cincinnati's draft.
Cincinnati was get a second round, I think.
So they had a first rounder.
First round, I'm sorry.
So their first rounder was Miles Murphy, edge from Clemson. He's a good overall player. I think that's going to help them, along with the fact I don't know for sure who their free agents are. I don't know if it's Henderson, excuse me, that is in there. That might be a free agent. I think he is. I'm not 100% sure. But that does help them. Now, what really interests me was the fact that they went 2 receivers. They went 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 6th, and then they went with a running back in the 5th. They do need running back depth because I don't know what's going on with Joe Mixon and Pirine. I believe Pirine's a free agent, and they do need somebody back up Mixon. But here's the one that a lot of people are going to look at and need to understand that this is a very valued pick. 95 overall, 3rd rounder, Jordan Battle, safety from Alabama.
Oh, wow, yeah.
They did get a good safety, especially after losing Jesse Bates to Atlanta. And speaking of Atlanta, they just completely shocked everyone. Bijan Robinson, running back, Texas.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Best running back in the draft class, in my opinion.
Yeah.
When you look at the way he runs, he's a hard physical runner. And here's the thing that's really good about that. Mm-hmm. It helps Cordero Patterson keep healthy most of the year. And they also drafted a guy later who is also a good running back in Tyler Algieri, who is also a downhill power runner. So you have 2 guys that can literally make your defense tired and play smash mouth football.
You see what Seattle Seahawks did?
I did.
That was a good pickup.
They had really good 2 picks there.
Wide receiver from Ohio State, Jackson Smith.
Let me go do it.
Jigba.
Yeah, you can go ahead and pronounce that all you want. It's very hard.
Jackson Smith.
It's Jackson Smith and Jigba.
And Jigba.
Great pick. So they got him at 20.
Wide receiver.
They got him at 20. And if you look at the way this fell, it was kind of interesting. First off, they got Devin Witherspoon, probably the best corner in the draft. Joey Porter is probably top 3, top 5. Went to Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And then Seattle got the number 1 in Devin Witherspoon, in my opinion, on that aspect of it. But Jason Smith and Jigba went 20. Here's where it gets interesting. Mm-hmm. It kind of reminded me in this situation. Jason Smith and Jigba went 20. Zay Flowers, who was ranked number 1, I believe, at the receiver, went to the Ravens at 22. And then at 24 went Addison from USC. So When I seen Flowers, Addison, and Jigba all within 2 picks of each other, it made me go back to when the Philadelphia Eagles picked up Jalen Reagor, and then 2 picks later, Minnesota took Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson,
JJ. Yeah. So I don't know which one of those guys might flop, if any of them, or which one might be a decent guy and the other one might be a stud. I honestly think if I were the Ravens, I think Addison met more of your criteria. Speedy guy who can get down the field, but also a guy who can win you a 50-50 ball. Zay Flowers is a tall guy. He kind of reminds you of Julio Jones, in my opinion. I believe. Hold on. Let me not mess that one up. I might have them mixed up. Hold on.
I just hope that the Browns picked the third round pick. He got a wide receiver.
They did get the second best receiver.
Cedric Tillman.
Yeah, that was the second best receiver on their team. Hyatt was number 1, and he went 1 pick prior to the Giants. They literally went back to back. But that was based on the season. Tillman was hurt most of the year. He came back with an ankle injury after a couple of games he missed, but Tillman is more of the, say, like 6'3" or 6'4", where Hyatt was more of like 5'9". So, okay, Zay Flowers, I have it here. He was 5'9", 182.
Okay.
Where did... Looking for Addison right now. Addison... Why can't I find it? I'm losing it right now. Oh, real quick while I pass this up. Las Vegas needed a tight end. Who did they get? Baby Gronk. They got the guy that they call Baby Gronk, Michael Mayer.
Yeah, because they traded Darren Waller to the Giants, I think it was.
Yep. So the Giants got him. And then the winner of the college football playoffs went Spencer Bennett. He won the championship, went to the Giants in the to the Rams in the 4th round. So he went there. I am completely lost with Addison. I cannot find him. There he is. Minnesota took him. Okay, so not too far off there. Addison's 5'11", 173. So he's taller and a little bit skinnier weight-wise. Arm length's a little bit longer. Hand size is a little bit smaller, I believe. Okay. So one of those guys, to me, is going to have a good career. The other one's going to have an explosive career.
We'll see, man.
So...
Well, I'm looking overall, how many picks the Browns have got. All the rounds. They have at least 3 Ohio State. What it looks like, or 2 from Ohio State.
I'm looking at now, going up to it. 2. Which one of them was a 6th-round pick. It was a center. He's more of your depth guy. You have Nick Harris for the Browns. You have Ethan Posick. You have this guy now in Luke Weepler. The one that interests me, though, is DeWard Jones. I seen a stat on him.
Okay.
In 70 snaps, he was only 1 of 5 college football offensive tackles. He had over 700 snaps. Did not give up a single sack in that time. He played right tackle, though.
So that's good for Deshaun Watson.
Well, he's not going to start.
No, I know. But...
He's a right tackle. They might be looking to do the same thing they did with Jedrick Wills, where you draft him as a right tackle, move him to the left. The problem with that is, look at what happened with Jedrick Wills.
I know.
He's not the guy that they think he is. No. They did pick up his 5th-year option. They're going to try him for 1 more year. If he doesn't work out, then they're going to move on. I do think you see more James Hudson then at that point.
What about the cornerback the Browns pick?
The cornerback or the quarterback?
Cornerback.
Okay. So the cornerback they picked is Cameron Mitchell from Northwestern. He did work with Greg Newsome a little bit before he, went off. I think that's a good depth guy, maybe a nickel guy you could throw in there. What really threw me off was the Dorian Thompson-Robinson pick, the quarterback from UCLA. He does make sense because he's a running, throwing quarterback. It fits the scheme. The same reason you pick Josh Dobbs back up is it fits right behind. You're not doing this, Jacoby's a pocket passer, Deshaun's a scrambler and a pocket passer. Trying to make that switch off of there is too hard. To have 2 quarterbacks that are similar to your starting quarterback makes sense. I just don't know if they make the roster.
Do you think it was a decent picks for the Browns? Even they are...
Considering they drafted in the 3rd round, it was decent, but I think that they still needed a lot more.
They needed a lot more. Yeah.
They did. They needed depth. They went pretty much...
Competing with right now the Steelers.
And the Steelers they killed the draft. I mean, they completely killed it. I will say this, though. Browns did sign 3 Ohio State players after the draft as undrafted free agents. So they made 5 total, basically.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah. But we talked about pretty much everything we want to cover today. There isn't a whole lot of like breaking news stuff like that. Nothing that really caught our eye other than, a couple baseball teams that aren't performing very well. NFL draft just came around the corner. It was really nice to see where these players went. Some of them surprised us. One of which was actually, I'll end it on this real quick. The Lions drafted a running back and then traded DeAndre Swift over to the Eagles.
The Eagles, yeah.
A report actually just broke out by Browns beat reporter Nathan Zagura saying that the Browns actually attempted to trade for DeAndre Swift, but fell short. So before he went to the Eagles,
they made the freaking trade for Deshaun Watson. They don't have
draft picks.
They don't have draft picks. No. So
of course, he's gonna go to the team that has more draft capital.
I don't know, man. What upset me last year?
What's that?
The Browns have the mock draft.
Yes.
They could draft what's his name from the Jets, the wide receiver.
You could take in Chris Olave or Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, one of those two.
Yeah. So we will. Oh boy, there goes Jackson. But that trade completely threw me off. Was after drafting the running back. I mean, the whole draft just felt like it was thrown off for the NFL.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have our MLB surprise teams that are still not doing very well. We do have some trades in the NFL in the draft, and then we also have the NBA playoffs still continuing. So it's going to be a busy next 2 months.
Oh, yes.
Hopefully there's a lot more to talk about next week. I'm hoping some baseball team comes out of the woodwork and just completely makes a bounce back. I'm hoping some NFL stuff starts happening because free agency should start soon.
Very soon, yeah.
And then NBA playoffs, we should be closer to the conference finals in the next week or two.
There's no key, like a top free agent for NBA right now?
For NBA?
Yeah, for this year.
Not that I know of. A lot of these players are still unrestricted or restricted, restricted, not unrestricted. So I don't know exactly who's going to be a free agent.
We need to check that out. Maybe
we will once. Because free agency will start right after the finals.
Yeah, it's like 1 week after.
1 or 2 weeks, and then the draft's like 3 weeks later. So we'll break that down in June after the finals. So
yeah.
But anything else you want to add?
No, everything good.
All right. Well, we will, we'll drop our Twitter link at the end here. Make sure you can follow us if possible. We really appreciate it. Make sure if you do listen to the podcast through Twitter or any other findings on YouTube, we greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe. We do want to be able to go live on YouTube, excuse me. We need some subscribers, obviously.
Yeah. So
but
once go live, so you got any questions, you can call us. Maybe
Well, we're working out some kinks on some stuff, but we're going to figure it out before that. But we want to be able to maybe go live when we go to baseball games and stuff like that, so we can get some questions with fans and, not only of the team of the city we live in, but also the opposing teams. Mm-hmm. So, but all right, well, other than that, you guys have a good night.
Have a good night.